It's Kino here. Thanks so much for joining for this 1 hour yin practice. I'm looking forward to this hour of just deep relaxation. So if you've had a day like I have, which is a little hectic and a little bit of thoughts going everywhere, it might take you a little bit to just kind of settle in. So give yourself at least 20 minutes for the nervous system to just kind of drop in. But then once you enter that kind of really deep and dropped in space, there'll be a feeling of deep healing that we'll kind of get tuned into. I'm at home today and I've got 2 yoga blocks and a bolster. So these are the objects we will be using for today's practice session. So if you don't have those handy, get something that you could use instead, like 2 big books or a big bed pillow, and have those handy. If you're not in a warm space, so if the air or the temperature is a little bit chilly, you may also want to grab a blanket so that if you get cold, you can just cover yourself up. That's something I like to do, particularly when you're holding the long time, spending long time in the asanas, then the body temperature can just kind of drop. So make sure that you're comfortable. You don't want to catch a cold while you're practicing. Good, I can see that now we are all ready. So let's get started. In a comfortable seated position, close the eyes. We'll initiate the space of practice with the sound Om, that holy vibration. So bring your hands together and then a nice long deep breath in. As you exhale, rest your hands down to any comfortable position. We begin with a few moments of mindfulness. So let your mind settle into the body, bringing your attention to your breath as the beginning resting point. Notice the feeling of the inflowing breath. Notice the feeling of the outgoing breath. Practicing a state of equanimity, a state of neutrality where the mind simply observes what is. After a few moments in contact with your breath, let your attention gently drop down and be aware of the physical body, so you feel your body. Notice your fingers, toes, your hands and feet. Notice the contact points that your body makes with the ground. Notice how the whole body feels, whether the muscles and the energy of the body feels tired, sore, excited, whatever seems to be present physically. Just be with it for a moment in a calm and equanimous mind. Finally, bring your attention to the mind itself. Notice the texture of thoughts and emotions that seem to run through the mind screen, and just be aware. Thinking, feeling. These 3 anchors of mindfulness help direct your attention inward. Breath as breath, body as body, mind as mind. Maintain this meditative framework as we move into the practice today. Gently activating the muscles of the pelvic floor, allow yourself a long and deep breath in. And as you exhale, let's softly open the eyes as we prepare to begin. We'll start by releasing the neck. So exhale, let's drop that head over to the left side. Take your right arm and drop the fingers down. And I want you to move your head a little forward and backward until you can find the place that really speaks to you. Then gently add your left hand in so you can kind of guide a little bit of that tension in the neck away. If you want it a little bit more, you can take your right hand onto the right shoulder. Feel the spots that are appropriate for you and let that really just kind of be what it is. We'll take about 3 more breaths. Two more breaths. Last breath. And gently release. Come on back into the center. Very good. We're going to switch the sides. Let's drop that head over to the right side and then take a moment letting that left arm drop gently down. And just find a moment where the neck kind of makes its release. It might be a little different on this side than the other. And then let's add in the hands. So now you can add in your right hand and just gently glide the neck into release. If you want to add in your left hand, you can do that. But if it's already enough, then you could just leave that left hand on the ground. It's up to you. We'll stay for about 3 more breaths. So long, deep breath in. Long, deep breath out. Let's do about 2 more. Long, deep breath in. Long, deep breath out. 1 more. Long, deep breath in. Long, deep breath out. Very good. Let's let it release and then take a moment to just let your spine and your neck kind of come back to an easy neutral position. We'll begin today with a fire log pose, or double pigeon, also sometimes called. You need to stack your right leg over the left, and if you need any assistance, you can place a block underneath one knee or underneath the other knee to support yourself. So you can see if this is right or better for you, but if it's not necessary, then you may want to stack the blocks out in front or grab your bolster and place that out in front. We don't fold forward right away. First, a nice long deep breath in, and then exhale, reach your right hand behind you. And so we just slowly start to work through the spine, and you can take your left hand and hold on to the right knee. And we'll stay here for a few breaths, just really working to release the back before we fold forward. Activating softly the muscles of the pelvic floor. Long, deep breath in. Long, deep breath out. Again, no force, no fight. Find the place where the muscles easily release. Long, deep breath in. Long, deep breath out. Let's do about 3 more. Long, deep breath in. Long, deep breath out. Let's do 2 more. Long, deep breath in, drawing the navel in. Long, deep breath out. Last breath. Good. Inhale, let's come back into the center. And then exhale, we'll start to fold forward. You can take the hands on the blocks or take the elbows on the blocks or on the bolster. If this feels very comfortable, you can open the blocks out in front and just rest the hands down. If you'd like to rest even more down, you can potentially take your head all the way down. You could rest on your forehead leaving the arms outstretched. If you would prefer to be without the blocks or without the bolster, you can do that as well. Now just close the eyes and allow yourself to gently settle in. If you need to make any little wiggles, let your body do that, keeping it nice and quiet, nice and calm. Close the eyes and just settle. Let the nervous system start to drop down. Let the mind really quiet. Feel the breath moving in, the breath moving out. Keep the attention calmly aware of all the sensations in the body, making a concerted effort not to fight or force. Remember that you want the body to be absolutely comfortable before you start, so that you don't force your body too deeply. Feel gently the contact of the earth underneath you, the ground, the floor, the earth. Feel the weight of the body releasing gently down, more and more down. And with every breath, a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more open, a little bit more connected. Be aware of all that you feel, all that you feel. A calm, quiet, meditative space. We'll be here for about 3 more breaths, so really enjoy the time. Long, deep breath in. Long, deep breath out. Again, long, deep breath in. Long, deep breath out. Last one, really let everything go. Now activate the muscles of the pelvic floor as you lift the head up and gently walk a little bit back. Very good. Pressing the arms straight. And then inhale all the way up. Good. Very delicately, let's glide the knees back. You can pause for a moment and just delicately round the back, hugging the knees in. And then we prepare for the other side. So you can wiggle around a little and Find the hips, and then we switch the sides. Now we've got the left shin bone on top. So remember, we don't fold immediately forward. Take a moment and stack the blocks underneath the knees if you feel that that is beneficial for you. And then inhale as you lift the spine up, and exhale. Let's go for a nice easy twist. Good. Deep breath in, deep breath out. That's good, and we'll just hold it here as we breathe. Staying in this kind of preparatory position to begin to lengthen the QLs and the back muscles, to feel the connection between the release along the back muscles and the elongation that travels down into the hips. So no fight, no force. Easy does it. Find the length and the spaciousness as you breathe in, spiraling in. As you breathe out, spiraling out. Long deep breath in. Long deep breath out. We'll stay for about 3 more breaths. We have about 2 more breaths. And now just 1 more breath. Very good. Let's come on back to the center. Stacking the blocks if that's better for you, or placing a bolster or maybe even on top of the blocks. And then exhale as you begin to pivot forward and coming forward onto the elbows, using whatever height is appropriate for you. Giving the back a chance to release, feeling the sitting bones heavy. And then as you exhale, extending the arms and dropping the head down. Keep the mind very quiet, very calm, very quiet, very calm. If you need any little wiggles to help you settle into the posture, find that and then settle. Settle deeply down into the posture, into your mind, into your body. Doing really well. Let your body just soften and release. Mind quiets down. Starting to feel that more deeper sense of relaxation. That quiet space where mind and body start to fall into alignment and harmony. If any emotions start to arise, just be aware of what emotions are present. If the physical discomfort starts to get very intense, activate the pelvic floor and breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Let all the knots slowly start to untie. Any little bands of tension in the body gently melt away. Just about 3 more breaths, so allow yourself to really settle deeply in. Long, deep breath in. Long, deep breath out. Long, deep breath in. Long, deep breath out. Last one. Slowly now, let's activate the muscles of the pelvic floor as you gently come up onto the elbows. Looks good. Inhale, let's come all the way up. Pausing for a moment, shifting the blocks on over to the side. Then leaning all the way back. You're going to draw the knees up into the chest and give yourself a little squeeze. Good. Lean your hands back behind you and let's just rock the hips over to the right. And then rock the hips over to the left. We'll do it 2 more times. Rock the hips over to the right. Rock the hips over to the left. Last one. Rock the hips over to the right. Then rock the hips over to the left. Back into the center. Let it settle. Good. Pushing yourself forward. We'll cross the feet. Coming up onto your hands and knees. And opening the knees a little bit. We begin now with a puppy pose. Taking the hands gently forward. Let's exhale. Placing the forehead on the ground and the fingertips down. Deep breaths. As we progress in puppy pose, there'll be a few invitations to deepen the posture. You don't need to accept those invitations. Let's get comfortable here first. Long, deep breath in. Long, deep breath out. Feel your breath, your body, your mind. Two more breaths, and then there's an invitation to deepen. One more breath. If you'd like to deepen the posture, press the palms down and then switch to the chest down. There can be a little bit of weight on the chin, but it should really be the chest that's pressing into the ground. We have about 3 more breaths, and then again, an invitation to deepen the posture. If you'd like to deepen the posture, gently back out onto your elbows, grabbing 1 or 2 blocks and setting up the blocks for the deepening of puppy pose. This is a very intense movement of the shoulders, so please don't feel obligated to accept this invitation. If you feel any pressure, too much pressure on the neck or the shoulders, you might want to back off from this. So hands onto the blocks, let's let the spine extend and begin with the forehead down. We'll stay here for a little bit. Steady breathing. If you need to wiggle a little around and shift the hips, then do that. Keep the pelvic floor gently tucked in to support the position of the pelvis. You're welcome to explore other positions, maybe reaching your chest again to the ground. If you decide that's too much, you can always just stay with the forehead. We'll have about 5 more breaths. In whichever variation you feel is right for you, let's stay. Deep breath in, and deep breath out, and deep breath in, and deep breath out. Good, we've got like 3 more breaths. 2 more breaths. And on the last breath, if you're on the blocks, gently walk off the blocks. And then inhale, gently come up, moving those blocks over to the side for a moment. And then exhale, let's crawl down and lie. Just gently face down for a moment. Taking the hands and resting the forehead on the hands for a moment. Let the spine just come back to neutral. Roll the thigh bones delicately towards each other. And then inhale, let's come up onto your elbows. And as you come up onto the elbows, we're going to spend a little time in the Cobra pose. So, working the Cobra pose. Lift the ribs and then just glide the ribs away from the hips. And we'll hold here for a few breaths. Find just the appropriate activation. I like to bring my hands together here so that you get the feeling of a little bit more support, And if there's any discomfort in the back, move the elbows even further away from the pelvis. So there should be no pressure in the back to start. You can close the eyes or gaze to the nose tip. And just like in puppy pose, there'll be a few invitations to go a little bit deeper, but you do not need to accept those invitations. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Allow the mind to really just drop into a quiet and introspective space. Let that introspection be the real purpose of the practice, the vibration of a very deep and meditative state of being. You can maintain the same posture, or you can take one yoga block and scoot the block in, resting the elbows on the block. If this creates discomfort, you definitely want to return to the floor. If the block is too hard, you can also do this on the bolster. Make sure that there is no pain in the back when you hold the posture. Keeping the mind quiet, calm, deeply introspective, exploring, not forcing, being with the body, deepening your awareness of the connection between breath, body, and mind. No matter what's happening around you, no matter what thoughts, emotions, or anything else bubbles up to the surface, remain calm and equanimous. Practice a steady space of remaining objective and neutral to all that arises. Relax the muscles of the back. Release the muscles of the abdomen while delicately drawing the pelvic floor inwards and upwards. We'll be here for just a few more breaths, so really enjoy the spinal extension, keeping your awareness tuned into the spine and the space between the joints of the spine, the energy of the spine. We'll stay for about 3 more breaths. And now about 2 more breaths. Last breath. As you exhale, let's walk off of the block. Return to just lying totally face down for a moment. Let everything go. Let it all go. Drop away. Rest. Then we slowly prepare to move again, walking the hands back, coming up onto your hands and knees, sliding the knees gently in. Now, curling your toes under, we will come up to the downward facing dog. So let's inhale and gently find the way to a nice downward facing dog. If you would like to keep the knees bent or straighten them, you find what works for you. We'll take about 5 breaths. So a nice deep breath in, a nice deep breath out. One more. Walk half the distance in. Let there be a nice soft bend in your knees. Layer your chest onto the thighs and let's straighten the legs and hang over in a forward fold. So if you need to keep the knees a little bent, it's okay, you can keep the knees a little bent. But if you can straighten, then straighten. You'll get a little more length through the hamstrings. Feel the soles of the feet releasing into the ground. Feel the back muscles releasing. The arms like weights gently gliding the spine into more release. And then let's do it again. Bend the knees. And inhale again. Straighten the legs. Find the places beyond the typical forward fold. In the glutes, in the deep six, the hip rotators, inside the pelvis, tracking that line. And one last time, bend the knees and straighten. Release, feeling the muscles getting longer and longer. Release. Relax. Soften. Find that pivot inside the hip joints, inside the pelvis. 3 more breaths. Let all the tension just melt away. 2 more breaths. Release. Elongate. Open. 1 more breath. And bend the knees. Coming all the way down into a squat position. And then exhale, let's sink gently back. Walking the feet a little bit forward, gliding the hips a little bit forward and rolling the torso down to constructive rest. Let's roll the neck to one side, roll the neck to the other side. Knees gently spiral towards each other, the sacrum supported on the ground. Stay for a few breaths here. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Feel the contact and the support of the floor underneath you. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Three more breaths. Let the body come back to a neutral resting point. Two more breaths. One more breath, last one. Very good. Now let's point the feet and draw the knees up into the chest and giving a very gentle squeeze on the knees. Good. Looking very good. Then Viparita Karani, let's take the legs up. And as you take the legs gently up, hands can rest anywhere and we'll just relax here. If the feet are not comfortable being up on their own, you could take a small blanket and place it underneath the hips. Or you can scoot your pelvis close to a wall. Steady breathing. Feel the blood and circulation moving through the body. Feel the energy moving through the body. Feel gravity helping move the fluids and energy of the body out of the feet, through the ankles, through the knees, through the thighs. Enjoy the moment. If you need to wiggle your feet or wiggle around, you're welcome to do that. We'll be here for about 5 more breaths, just so you know. There's an end point. A nice long deep breath in. Long deep breath out. Again, long, deep breath in. Long, deep breath out. Last one. Now as you inhale, let's open the feet, keeping them lifted. And give the feet a chance to come into a nice V shape. Good. And if you would like to support the thighs, the blocks can come in to where the thighs are. And this can actually help the inner thighs release. So sometimes when the inner thighs kind of have an end point and they know, well, gosh, that's how far I need to release, then they can really let go. So let yourself find that support, and then you can flex the feet a little, point the feet a little, flex the feet a little, point the feet a little. Good. Let the legs be totally supported. Let the thigh muscles relax. The inner thigh muscles relax. Let the hips find their release. If you feel you want to shift the blocks more open, you can do that, but and make sure that the hips really have the support they need. Let's have a few more breaths. If it gets very intense, you can hold underneath your knees to speak to the thighs and let them know that you haven't forgotten about them, that they're still supported. If there's shaking sensations or burning sensations or other intense sensations, it's totally normal, especially if the legs are quite high, making kind of a V shape rather than a straddle position. So you allow yourself to release and open, letting the inner thighs just let go of the tension, finding the space. So very good. We'll stay for a few more breaths. Make peace with where you are. We have about 3 more breaths, so just really settle in. Long deep breath in, long deep breath out. Again, long deep breath in, long deep breath out. Last one. As you exhale, let's hold on to the knees. Bring them up a little bit, and then I want you to bend the knees, closing the knee joints and gently placing them down. Take constructive rest just for a moment. We're going to enlist the help of the bolster next. So coming up onto the elbows, let's gently glide the bolster in. We're preparing for Supta Baddha Konasana. So let's glide that bolster in. And then open the knees. And again, position the blocks so they support the knees. And then just gently let the spine roll down over the bolster, finding a complete space of rest, and then close the eyes. Feel the mind dropping down, walking that border between wakefulness and sleep, remaining very meditative, very aware. If you notice yourself yawning, let the yawns come. Let the body enter into a deep space of healing, the frequency, the vibration of the body, working towards deep healing. If you feel like your feet are sliding out, you can always move them back in a little. Quiet the mind. Feel that sense of surrender and release. Surrender and release. Keep the mind in that calm, quiet, meditative flow, aware of your breath, aware of your body, aware of the quality and the nature of mind itself. Feeling a sense of deep rest and allowing the space of deep rest and healing to wash over the body like a wave, so that no matter where you are, no matter what's happening, this moment of peace is a transcendent moment. Now, since the mind and body are already very relaxed, we will make a very delicate transition to the final relaxation. Can delicately move the feet and the knees, perhaps moving the blocks over to the side, rolling gently off the bolster and just sliding it over. And then after a moment in constructive rest, let's open the hands, open the knees, and lie all the way down. Close the eyes and take a nice deep rest. Feel the flow of energy throughout the body. Feel the space inside the body and the space around the body. Notice the breath as it moves in, and the breath as it moves out. Slowly we begin to reawaken the body, feeling refreshed, as though you've woken up from a perfect night's sleep. And begin to move your fingers, toes, hands and feet, the arms and legs, the head, the neck, the torso. You can move through a little stretch if you like, or just find your way to constructive rest once more. Drawing the knees up into the chest, a little light squeeze. And let's roll over onto the side. And come on back up to a comfortable seated position. letting the mind again find that meditative space, connecting in with breath, body, and mind. Feeling the sense of connection both inward and outward through the vehicle of the heart, planting the seeds of metta. May I be happy. May all beings be happy. May I be peaceful. May all beings be peaceful. May I be filled with love. May all beings be filled with love. Gently bring your hands together. A nice long deep breath in. As you exhale, softly open the eyes. Thank you so much for joining me on this practice. May you be happy, may you be peaceful, may you be filled with love. Namaste.